connecting the most commonly used boxes of the minor pentatonic scale. The lower extension connects to the main box, which connects to the upper extension. It's this path that so many lead guitar players take when performing a solo. Alright, so that's today's lesson, how to perform that series of notes so you can better navigate the fretboard. But also, we're going to reveal what those lower and upper extensions actually are as full caged positions of the minor pentatonic scale. Let's jump in. Okay, a close look at the fretboard, getting started breaking down this technique. I'm also going to take this opportunity to introduce to you the crown and jewel of my guitar collection, the guitar I've been after for about 5 years, a beautiful 1965 Gretsch Country Gentleman. Very similar to what George Harrison played. I think he played a 62, so you can definitely expect to see a lot of this guitar as I get into some more Beatles tutorials. Okay, jumping into this technique, we're going to play in the key of A and get started reviewing the main box of the minor pentatonic scale for the beginners out there. Looks and sounds like this. Alright, so that was 5-8 on the low E, A string 5-7, D string 5-7, G string 5-7, B string 5-8, and then 5-8 on the high E. That's what we call the main position or the E-shaped position of our minor pentatonic scale, in this case in the key of A, because it surrounds our root chord A minor played as an E bar chord shape. The E minor chord being transposed up to the key of A. Alright, so right there, that's everything you need to play a proper rock guitar solo. But very commonly, if you see players descending down the scale, they tend not to stay in the same position that way because it's a little cumbersome. Instead, they'll descend down to this thing that we call the lower extension. It's notes that are inside the main box, down 1 octave. Okay, so the lower extension of the minor pentatonic scale is frets 3, 5 on the low E, and 3 and 5 on the A string. You can go up a half step if you want to make it a blues scale, or bend that note on the A string. Alright, so sit in that box for a second, see if you can come up with some ideas. And then see if you can climb back up out of the lower extension into the main box, which is usually done by sliding on the A string 5 up to 7. Alright, now, as the momentum builds in a solo, it's very common for players to start off in the low notes and then work their way up to higher and higher notes. So instead of playing in the main box only, it's very common for players to slide up a full step into the upper extension. Alright, that is frets 9 on the G, 8 on the B, up to 10, and then 8, 10 on the high E. Again, right here, notes that we find inside the main box. Alright, so those notes are G, A, C, and D. Alright, so now practice that full motion, going from the lower extension, up into the main box, and then up into the upper extension, and back. You can add in the blues note, which is going to be E flat, to make it into a blues scale. Alright, for a little extra flavor. Okay, so there we have it, the lower extension. main box, the upper extension. All the same notes, okay, but different positions that present different opportunities. Now, let's talk about what those extensions actually are. They are full positions of the minor pentatonic scale, but so many guitar players don't really seem to know that, and they get stuck playing these 2 or 3 string fragments of the scale. Okay, so now let's learn how to play the full 6 string versions of these positions. Taking a look first at the lower extension, it surrounds our 1 chord, which can be A minor or A major, played as a G shape. Okay, looks and sounds like this. That's what you know so far. And that's the rest of it. Okay, so the lower extension is actually the G shape position of the minor pentatonic scale. Frets 3-5 in the low E, 3-5, 2-5, 2-5, 3-5, 3-5. All right, now looking at the upper extension, this is actually a full position of the minor pentatonic scale in its D shape position. Looks and sounds like this. All right, so starting from the root note 5, we're gonna go up to 8 and then 10. Then the A string, we have 7 to 10, 7, 10 on the D, the G string, 7 up to 9. And then now, this is what you know. This is that fragment of this position of the minor pentatonic scale. So 9 on the G, 8 on the B, up to 10, 8, 10. Okay, so very, very often you'll see players playing this 3-note fragment, and they think the only way to get back to their home base or their safety net is to use the same exact series of frets. But in actuality, all right, you've got that full adjacent position of the minor pentatonic scale. Okay, so now we have 3 different positions of this minor pentatonic scale to practice. In this case, the key of A, but you can move this across the fretboard to different keys. We have the G-shaped position, the main position or the E-shape position, and also the D-shape position. Okay, so now we can move much more fluently and confidently across the fretboard. We don't have to be so tied to the main position, and we don't have to limit ourselves to 2 or 3 strings as we play through those extensions. And the next step for all of you is going to be to see if you can take it from key to key, move it around the fretboard, and also see if you can do it up an octave if your guitar allows for it. So the G-shaped position, key of A, the main position or the E shape, and I have just enough frets for this, not going to be easy, the D shape where that upper extension lives. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, everybody, and that it's going to help you to navigate the fretboard a little bit better. Enjoy your practice.